This episode of Wookiees on X-Wing is brought to you in part by Metagames, Atlantic Canada's newest gaming and tournament center.
You can check it out at metagames.com. That's metagames with a Z.com.
Long live Metagames!
Welcome back to Wookiees on X-Wing. My name is Matt.
I'm John.
And today we've got the first game of our Gamezilla Fredericton Store Championships. So we've got Steven here, newcomer to the camera. He's flying a list we've seen before. This is Paul Heaver's World Championships Rebel list with Poe Dameron, R2-D2, Veteran Instincts, and Auto Thrusters. A Gold Squadron pilot with a TLT, a Gold Squadron pilot with a TLT, R3A2, and the BTL A4 title, and a little Bandit Squadron pilot to round out everything.
If you want more information on the Paul Heaver list, I've gone into great detail on it on my blog, The Comm Scan, on Northern Gaming Network. But it's pretty solid. We've liked seeing it, and I'm pretty happy to see it in the tournament because either the player knows how to fly it and it's going to be pretty effective, or the player doesn't know how to fly it and he's going to get booted off of our cameras. So
hopefully it's the first one.
I agree. And then we have returning player Scott Robinson. He is flying a Palp shuttle, so that is an Omicron group pilot with Emperor Palpatine. Then we also have a Phantom with Whisper, with Veteran Instincts, Sensor Jammer, Advanced Cloaking Device, and Agent Kallus from Star Wars Rebels fame. And Omega Leader with, this has TIE FO, Pilot Skill 8, with Juke and a Comm Relay. I really like Omega Leader, so if you haven't seen him before, his pilot's ability is enemy ships that you have locked cannot modify any dice when attacking you or defending against your attacks. Combine that with Juke and Comm Relay means that he always has that evade when he needs it. He's going to always turn some of those hits into focus, and they can't modify those focus back.
That's an impressive... He's a great pilot. He's fun to fly, and he's annoying to fly against. I'm intrigued by this Whisper. This is not the usual buzzsaw Whisper that we've become accustomed to seeing. This is a really... Well, it's a really defensive Whisper.
Yeah, very much so. And I hope to see Scott... there you go. So what that just happened there is Agent Kallus is picking his prey, and Agent Kallus, basically at the very beginning of the game, he chooses one ship, and the ship that Agent Kallus is on, he may change dice results against that one specific ship.
And unsurprisingly, he picks Poe. I mean, that is the linchpin of the Heaver. We don't want Poe being left to his own devices.
No, you want him to deal with him right away. And the fact that the Phantom is going to be trying to gun for Poe is a really good choice out of the gate. I kind of hope that the Phantom stays on the board, because the last time we really got to see Scott, that was last year's Store Championship event, and pretty sure the first turn of the game he flew the Phantom right off the board.
It was pretty early.
So I'm pretty excited to see the Phantom hopefully stay for longer than one round.
Well, you make mistakes and you learn from them. I really think that Kallus, having chosen Poe, is going to make him play pretty cagey with that fighter.
Yeah.
He does not want Poe to explode.
So we've been going on and talking about all of these cool squadrons, and the first turns of the game are already underway. So we have pretty central asteroid deployment, a bit of space in the middle. Normally we see like a big rock in the middle, but here we don't.
It's a nice big chunk of debris there someone chose for one of their pieces.
Yes.
So that makes that a little easier to get around in over there. Interestingly, both players have deployed their furthest fighter basically facing parallel to their board edge.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, it definitely puts Poe in a nice spot. It lets him, if he wanted to, if he was a little safer, he could blast fairly far up the board and then choose to turn in to engage. At this point, it looks like he's just going to try to keep with his squadron as much as possible.
Yeah, and the rest of the squadron just seems to be wanting to circle around the asteroids rather than go and fight in the middle of them. Which it might be a solid choice, considering the TIE Fighter and the Phantom can be fairly flexible when it comes to fighting in debris, asteroids, what have you.
Well, Phantom definitely, just with the decloak. Now, Whisper, unlike Echo, her counterpart, she can only do the straight maneuvers when she's decloaking, but that's still a lot of board area you can cover, and it really makes your fighter hugely flexible.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how Scott is going to be using Omega Leader. I'm a big fan of Omega Leader because he's the ideological, or, the successor to Dark Curse, in the fact that he's a giant dirtbag, which is why I like him.
He's kind of a dink, yeah.
You're going to see him a lot more when actions and dice modification become a lot more relevant, especially with a lot of the Wave 8 stuff that is coming out.
Yeah, and here we go. We got Palp Shuttle just moseying on forward. It's got a bump. Doesn't really care. That shuttle doesn't need to do a whole lot of anything yet.
No. Especially since the reason why it's on the board is Emperor Palpatine. That's all he there for.
Yeah. It has some incidental guns. Yeah, it's still 3 attack dice. It's not bad. It's gonna... Well, it'll definitely do... It can do some heavy lifting against these Y-Wings.
Yeah.
Y-Wings don't like seeing 3 attack dice from anything, but...
But for the most part, the way that the maneuver dial of the Lambda shuttle is, you have to really figure out where you're going to fly it
for most of the
game, and you're only going to get 3 or 4 shots on a game, depending on how your opponent flies and depending on how you block and intercept their pilots.
Yeah.
So if you have something like a fleet officer or Emperor Palpatine, you really don't care a whole hell of a lot about actually shooting. That's the big flaw with Vader, right? You really want shots off. You don't care so much with these synergy Omicrons, and who cares, right?
Yeah. It's a bit of a bump there from Omega Leader. A little unfortunate, but he was able to get his retained evade token from last turn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he's so far out of range, he's not attacking anyway. Just, it does help him get pointed in a decent direction.
Oh, yeah, for sure. What I like about the Comm Relay, and it's come up a couple of times in games that I've played with the Omega Leader, is that just people don't want to shoot him.
No.
At all. It's like the same thing with Dark Curse. People don't want to shoot him because he's too frustrating to shoot at.
He's still got evade. He's focus invaded. Well, dang.
And one of the nice things about both Dark Curse and Omega Leader, they make really good end piece or end game dogfighters.
Well, especially when you have one-on-one. When you're one-on-oneing and you have a fighter with some pretty substantial defensive tech.
Yeah,
it's going to be potent.
And defensive tech is key there because, as you said, there's a tech upgrade, and one of the beautiful things about that tech upgrade, you can disengage, get that evade, and then come back into the fight.
Yeah.
Or you can get that evade token, and then you don't really care as much about doing a K-turn. Or a Signer loop, which is what they also have.
Oh, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful maneuver, a 2 Signer loop. And so, again, the shuttle's just going to mosey on forward,
boom, boom.
using Omega Leader as his body block. I'm a little intrigued by just how far up that Phantom is ending up. But, I mean, I guess it makes sense just likely in case of this such eventuality where Steven might want to turn through and stick to the more open space.
Well, the thing is with those Y-Wings, one of them has a TLT. It's not that big of a threat to the Phantom. One of them is a stress bot. If it can get that Phantom in its line of sight and stress it out, that Phantom is in a really bad spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of a sudden, those 3 attack dice TLTs are getting through onto the 2 defense dice of a decloaked Y-Wing, or a decloaked Phantom.
Yeah, and if it's still alive come its turn, that Phantom automatically, and it's in attack range, that Phantom base, just here, you have 2 stress.
So I just wanted to point out here, that was really tight flying with that Z95.
That was very close.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't want to pull a Kanye, but geez, that was some tight flying.
That was well done.
I'm interested to see.
We can both appreciate that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially since I tend to do a 3 bank. That's the only maneuver that will land me on asteroids for some reason. Is the 3 bank. 3 hard? Nah, I'm good with that.
I don't usually bank on asteroids. I'm the opposite. I usually turn onto them.
Oh, okay.
I undercut my turn.
Yeah.
And it's like, crap.
But that just means we need more practice games.
Yes. So here we go. Got Whisper turning in. Going to go for that Y-Wing.
Looks like he took the evade action with his custom tokens that he has. Poe still wants to stay out of the fight. Same thing with the Phantom, right? Just, that's their end game piece. They don't want to commit that too early.
No. He really doesn't. And Steven has, like we mentioned earlier, he has a very nice counter to Phantoms in general with the R3A2 Y-Wing.
Oh, yeah.
You get 1 or 2 rounds into that Phantom, it's gonna have to spend a decent chunk of the game either hoping it doesn't catch stray shots or it has to break off to get some greens and clear that stress.
Yeah. One of the nice things I do like about the Paul Heaver list is it's just a ragtag bunch of really, well, aside from the T-70, not a lot of pretty fighters.
No, they're all old.
Yeah.
Those are all pre-original trilogy fighters.
Yeah, and for the most part, and while that's obviously true canonically, or canonically, I cannot pronounce that word. Forgive me. There is no forgiveness. But aside from that, their dials demonstrate that. They pretty much don't have a really great a maneuver dial.
No. The Z95 is not bad. It's average. Like, it's an acceptable dial.
Yeah, it's like an X-Wing.
But the Y-Wing is pretty bad.
The Y-Wing is pretty bad when you don't have some astromech love to change your maneuvers into green maneuvers.
Yeah.
So that's why the scum love the salvaged astromech, or sorry, unhinged astromech. I spoke of.
The unhinged is fantastic.
And that's why rebels love the R2 astromech.
Yeah. So here we go. We got some shots going out.
It looks like 2 potential hits.
Let's see.
Oh, that's right. Scott informed me after this that all of the videos, most of the dice were on off screen.
Yeah.
So we don't know what Scott's attack dice are going to be until I scold him for that. But Steven on the other hand was nice enough to actually roll in view.
Yeah. So this is Whisper shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the Scum paint scheme Y-Wing, that is the stressbot Y-Wing. It takes looks like that took 2 points of damage. And
that is not what Scott wants to see on his fighters this early into the game. He does not want to see his Phantom with stress at all.
And it's a shame that the BTLA4 Y-Wing was the leading one. Scott just has to hope that he can kill this thing as quickly as possible.
Well, it was a good plan on Steven's part. I think that was mostly his game plan was, all right, let's get the Phantom in a really difficult position right away, and then we can deal with Omega Leader. Because once those 2 fighters are dealt with, I mean, the shuttle is a joke.
I mean, and Poe is almost in position to just kill that shuttle with anyway.
Yeah.
He's just about behind it. It really doesn't matter.
It'll take a couple of turns. The Omicron pilot can get turned around still. It can still maneuver and just evasive actions to be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, once the Phantom, once the Omega Leader is gone out of the picture, even a Y-Wing can outmaneuver the shuttle and take it out.
The Y-Wing has a cater.
Yeah.
Alright, so here, with the 4 defense dice, you only rolled 1 evade, so had to burn the evade token. So far, it looks like Whisper has taken... Whisper may not have taken damage. She took 1 there. And here we go.
I'm curious if he didn't want to recloak just because he knew that both Y-Wings couldn't shoot at him, and after he shot originally. if both of the Y-Wings wouldn't be able to shoot at him, and next turn he will be able to, well, he'll be able to do something. Like, that isn't as difficult.
Well, being cloaked at this range, if he tries to decloak sideways,
He'll hit
he
it.
might be able to fit in there, but it's going to be close.
Yeah.
At least towards, if he decloaks towards Steven.
Yeah.
He can opt to decloak back towards himself, but then that puts Whisper staring straight at an asteroid.
Yeah. On top of that, decloaking the other way is also difficult.
Yeah, and if he decloaks forward, he might be able to pull that off, but he can be right in the middle of the scrum. So it's... Yeah, you're less defense dice overall. You're 3 versus 5 at that range, but...
Well, this is an interesting take on what normally would be Palp aces, right?
Mhm.
You have Palpatine and normally Vader and Soontir Fel. And in this case, you have, well, Whisper, obviously, and Omega Leader. And Omega Leader is a little bit tankier in the sense that...
Then fell, for sure.
well, Fel just has a sheer amount of defense dice and actions.
Yeah.
But Omega Leader will not get shot at as much because you have to like wait a fire in order to even kill him, and he'll always have that evade token, pretty much. And you can't modify defense dice against him, and he's still a TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Then you have Phantom, who can hide behind the 4 defense dice, but it's very difficult when it deals with stuff that is higher on the initiative step.
Mm-hmm. That's why usually when you see Whisper has VI.
And that's true here.
And but Whisper really doesn't like TLTs. Especially, well, with those range 3 shots. Like, yeah, range 3, don't care. For 2 defense dice versus my 3. I'm probably going to do 1, fairly reliably able to do 2 points of damage to Whisper.
And I guess that's one of the reasons why Scott decided to put Sensor Jammer on the Phantom rather than, say, I don't know, advanced sensors or fire control systems, which you'd normally see.
Mm-hmm.
That's because, alright, this is going to be probably the thing that's going to get shot at the most. When it does get shot at, I want to make sure that this doesn't die.
Yeah. So let's, especially with the TLTs, like, yeah, okay, you get to use it anytime you defend, so let's make him spend that focus.
Yeah.
And you can't target lock those dice. You can't target lock that dice, which is pretty handy.
Yeah.
So here we go. We got...
That looks really tight.
That's a bump.
Yeah.
Strange maneuver.
I was not expecting that, especially with the maneuver dial that the TIE FO has.
Yeah. That definitely took me by surprise. I'm not sure why he went that way.
It looks like he's going straight forward into the scrum, as you say.
Mm-hmm. This is he's
bumping, but he's not getting any actions anyway because he's already stressed.
Mm-hmm. It'll shed 1. Now the big thing here
is whether he's
Whisper can't recloak
because he's stressed.
She's stressed. Whisper is stressed. So she can't perform that free cloak action.
Yeah.
She'll get her focus if she hits because that's a sign of focus token.
Yeah.
So that'll be handy.
I guess you have to really hope here that the TLT Y-Wing, the non-stress bot, is within range 1.
If he's in range 1, that's going to hurt. That Y-Wing's going to take a chunk of damage.
Yeah.
Or should take a chunk of damage.
But I'm also looking at it from the perspective that when you're within range 1 of a TLT, you don't get shot at by it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get shot by it.
And it's really funny. In my experience, I'd rather get 3 attack dice from a forward blasting firing arc, primary firing arc, than I would get against a...
They get shot twice by a TLT.
Well, a TLT is like on average about 3.5 attack dice, where range 1 primary weapon is 3 attack dice, so...
Yeah. And Poe's coming in. Here he is.
What's he gonna do?
That's close.
I think he's probably gonna boost.
Yeah.
He's still with.
He already did. He actually boosted.
Okay.
So he's a little out of range. He might be out of range now. We'll find out after Whisper shoots. Just farm initiative. And Whisper's in range 1.
Oh, it's just really good for fan of that whisper.
It's phenomenal. And that actually looks like that Y-Wing evaded, which is nice for the Y-Wing.
It's still taking a boatload of damage.
It is. It's taking a couple points of damage there for sure.
And now Whisper has focus, which means that that Y-Wing and that Bandit aren't nearly as scary now.
No, with focus, Palpatine,
and sensor jammer. Yeah, that's a lot of defensive tech to leverage only two and maybe 3 attack dice.
Yeah, exactly. And it looked like Poe was out of range, so no shot from Poe. Got the Omicron, has a shot on the stressbot, and it looks like he opted to Palpatine one of those. Getting a shot through the asteroid.
Some serious heavy fire from that Omicron pilot.
Yeah, gets 2 points through. Not bad. We are down to hull, so that Y-Wing is half dead.
Well, when the Dark Lord of the Sith is your co-pilot, you pretty much want to fire properly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still baffled by Omega Leader. Perhaps setting up for next turn?
Maybe. It does have a nice one hard turn. Maybe he's just confused about what he's doing in this timeline. But then again, so is Poe, so there's that.
Yeah. Well, even Whisper is still a little far out, but... Anyway, here we go. We got some, this is the BTL. Shooting at Omega Leader. Makes sense, he can no longer Signer loop.
Oh, brutal.
That would have been a pretty decent maneuver. That would have put him facing in a good spot.
Not only that, but it gives him enough distance to continue maneuvering for future turns.
He's unlikely to get damaged, but...
So he takes no damage.
There's no damage, but he's got 2 stress, so he's no actions for this. He's no actions for at least next turn.
Yeah.
And no K turns for 2, or no red maneuvers for two turns. Yeah, that... Unfortunate. That's just an annoying ship to face, though. The stress Y-Wing.
Yeah, I know. I used it against you a couple of times.
Like, just let it end, please.
Give in to your stress.
So now I've got... This is a decent choice for Steven, actually. Does he take the range 1 shot from his regular Y-Wing into Whisper, or does he put the 2 TLTs into Omega?
Looks like 3 attack dice, so he's doing the 3 attack dice.
This is into Whisper. So this is into Whisper.
Yeah.
And there's the sensor jammer, which we know couldn't be re-rolled from target lock.
Yeah, it's card effect, yeah.
So this is 2 defense dice versus 1 potential hit. Now, we have already seen Palpatine used this turn.
Which is kind of surprising if you ask me, why he wouldn't use, especially since...
Well, Whisper does have a focus, and it looks like she did have to spend it there.
And you're still getting 2 attack dice.
It's 2 from the Headhunter. With a sensor jammer.
It's re-rolling.
There's the target... Oops. That was a little bit of a bump. So there's the sensor jammer, goes out. And it looks like he misses anyway.
Yeah. So they were doing that a little bit out of order. Because when you are attacking or defending, your opponent modifies your dice first. When you're an attacker, throwing your attack dice, the defender will modify the attack dice, and then so on and so forth.
And it makes sense with the sensor jammer card. It does have that caveat in there of whatever die you modify cannot be re-rolled. So it may make sense in terms of focus use, target lock use. But in this case, in the end, it ended up with the same result anyway.
It's nice to see that an upgrade that came out with, I think that's like Wave 2, Wave 3, with the Omicron, with the Lambda Shuttle, is getting some use here.
I like seeing stuff like that. It's pretty neat. So... Here we go. As a as scrums inevitably do, this is dissolving into proxy bases. Oh my god, can my ship do this? Where is it landing?
The answer is, I don't know.
And intriguingly enough, that Omega Leader is actually, he's kind of,
In the right spot.
yeah, he's blocking. That's interesting.
It was a nice preemptive block, I suppose.
Hmm.
In the grand scheme of things, it's good because it stops that Y-Wing from being a jerk and getting actions and stuff like that. Not that it could do any actions anyway because it's all stressed out.
Yeah. Stress there, yeah.
And having stress on Omega Leader like that is really frustrating for him because he wants to get that evade. He wants to keep that evade token and he wants to get target locks.
And he's used his evade token.
Yeah.
So there's no... that's not going anywhere. But he is... I mean... He can fairly easily stay in range 1 of both of these Y-Wings. The scum-painted version has a fixed forward fire arc. So if he gets turned far enough, he can very likely clear that arc.
What's really nice here, though, is that Whisper is in a really good spot to start dealing with Poe. Now, splitting your fire is not necessarily the greatest thing, especially when you're dealing with these TLT Y-Wings.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to have to worry about them this turn. That's the beauty of the TLTs, is that they have that donut. So once you're within that donut, you're kind of safe.
Palpatine's going to be doing some lifting this turn and in coming turns.
I'm curious to see what he's going to do, what he can pull off.
A little bit surprised that Headhunter went quite that fast. Ended up bumping. A little bit of a shame there, but that's okay. You know, he's going to be probably shooting the Omicron.
I think for the most part, it's to prevent the Phantom from doing any kind of really tight one maneuvers. Not that you would want to turn too close into that asteroid.
No, I wouldn't think so. And here's Omega Leader, so he's definitely cleared that fixed forward fire arc. Did end up bumping into the second Y-Wing, it looks like. Bit of a shame.
It wasn't getting any actions anyway.
No, and it prevents that Y-Wing from using its regular blasters to attack it.
Yeah.
He may have fire arc into that Headhunter.
Okay.
That's going to be close. He's definitely getting shot by the Headhunter anyway.
Yeah.
Unless he elects to shoot Palpatine. He might. It's hard to say right now. That's it is a green maneuver, I suppose, for the Phantom.
I'm still kind of curious why he didn't try to stay within the range 1 band of the Y-Wings, knowing what the Y-Wings can do, which is not a lot of fast maneuvers. But knowing what the Y-Wings can do, you want to try to stay within the range 1 so you don't get planked out by the TLTs.
Yeah,
especially when you have stress. But I think it just cleared the stress.
He cleared it with that. That's definitely a green maneuver. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Whisper cloaks here.
That would be a really smart choice.
Whisper's not getting a shot, especially because she didn't turn. There it is. I'm also surprised she didn't decide to turn in and start the engagement with Poe, but next turn, it definitely will be able to next turn. But we'll see. This is definitely boost off the board, right?
Yeah. Fortunately, you can't, but yes.
Poe is going to start tearing that shuttle apart.
Yeah.
I foresee Palpatine dying within a couple turns.
Poe is in a really good spot. Poe has spent most of this game getting into that spot, but it's a pretty good spot, especially since he'll be able to, if he doesn't want to completely deal with Palpatine, he can put on the starting shots that will help the Y-Wings finish it off, and then he can turn to deal with Omega.
Oh, that's a range 1 starting shot, and he hits all 4 of them. And Scott's going to have to choose whether he Palpatines this now. And it looks like he does. He elects to Palpatine it, and has 3 of his shields blown away.
Yeah.
That's rough. That sucks.
One of the upgrades that's in the Wave 8 box is the reinforced deflectors.
Yes.
And I think with a lot of the stuff that's coming out with Wave 8 and a lot of the heavy hitting, here's all my attack dice in one go, you might start seeing those upgrades on something like the Palp Shuttle.
Well, a couple people have been talking to, in our area anyway, they have actually the same ideas. That those deflectors, yeah, they're going on a shuttle.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take damage, it's going to get focused. And they're only 3 points, like it's not that big of an investment.
Especially if you're looking with Palp Aces, there's a crit and it's weapons failure.
Oof. Now, see, the beautiful thing for Scott is that crit affects the Y-Wing's turret as well. Because it just says when attacking, roll 1 less attack dice. So, it makes those TLTs a little less scary.
Yeah. But what we were saying about the people around this area.
Yeah, they can easily see finding 3 points to put the deflectors on a Palpatine shuttle.
Yeah. I think that with Palp Aces, you're going to see a move from Soontir Fel probably getting switched for the Inquisitor.
See, I was actually hearing Vader.
Yeah,
because they functionally perform the same role.
Okay.
But the Inquisitor is, yes, he's 1 less health.
Oh, there was a bit of a bump there.
Oh, a ship bump.
I think he was pointing to a Y-Wing, and the Y-Wing just bounced off of the... Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That is. And that TIE Fighter is definitely not pointed in the right direction anymore.
And again, this seems to be a common theme, and I have been scolding my players for this. No judge call.
Yeah.
When you have something like this, and for you people, for our fans who go to store championships and regionals and all of these things, when something like this happens, call the judge over, because they don't want to hear about this after the event.
Yeah.
Because then they're just going to pull their lightsaber out and cut you down. And then you won't be able to get any prizes.
No, that is sad. But, I mean, it does mean more swag for the judge, so
yeah,
maybe. Totally not biased there. But, yeah, that unfortunate Omega Leader is definitely not in the same spot anymore. Because his fire arc was iffy of whether or not he had it on the Headhunter.
Yeah.
But let's see if it affects the end result. Hopefully not too much. But before our unfortunate segue. That's a terribly unfortunate segue.
Yeah, you were saying that Vader...
being replaced by the Inquisitor because he has a built-in boost, so you don't have to buy engine upgrade.
Yeah.
And he's just that much cheaper for basically the same.
He's a little less durable, but then he has auto thrusters as well.
Yeah.
And the 3 attack dice primary range 1. Oh, it's good. Matt and I...
And that ties into the reinforced deflectors. Because you might do 3 damage.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a laser turret, though.
Blasty, blasty.
Blasty, blasty, indeed.
I'm a big fan of the TLTs. There's just... Especially with the Y-Wing. I'm a big fan of anything that makes these Y-Wings really cool. And I've always been a big fan of the Y-Wings. I've been rewatching the Clone Wars series. If you guys haven't watched the Clone Wars, you should. And then you should watch Star Wars Rebels after that. And then you should watch them again. But...
Yeah, I like TLTs en masse. Like, we've seen the 4 TLT list. My God, that is just boring.
It can be. A lot of people have fun with it. But they're scum.
Yeah.
Because they're scum players. But...
I mean, even too, it's just like... It can be, hey, I roll, I'm going to do damage. Like, it can be a little frustrating, but it's also... It is such a useful tool.
Yeah.
And having 2, it's not insurmountable. It definitely forces you to play cagey, and it forces you to be careful when you're flying.
Yeah.
But it is also, like, as we've seen, they're the mini donuts of death.
Yeah,
They do have that hole.
I would say that the Y-wing TLT is very much an echo of a stronger echo of the ion cannon Y-wings that you used to see back in the really early waves of the game. You would see like a spice, like a bit of salt and pepper of one in a list, and then you'd see somebody fly 3, and it would be the most infuriating thing ever. But that is no longer the case. You don't see ion turrets anymore. I think it's because they're too overcosted for what they do now.
Well, they're decent for what they do. They don't have the range 3,
Yeah.
which is a big thing. But there's also... You are just... Oh, there's so many large ships in the game.
Yeah.
You're so likely to run into one or more large ships. And it takes you 2 turns to affect them.
Yeah.
So they don't have the punch that they used to. Whereas when they'd come out, there's a Falcon. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you have to worry about. So, I mean, yeah, it still takes you 2 turns to eye on a Falcon. But most of the rest of the game was ships you just go, brap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the other thing, is that the TLTs are useful pretty much against everything. There's some lists that you just... You wish you had faster firepower, because it tends to be like a damage race.
Yeah.
But when you're bringing TLTs to the table, you're playing the long game.
Exactly. And you're playing the reliable damage.
Yeah.
Which, against the ships that ion cannons don't like to see, they love it.
Oh, yeah. Especially with evade tokens and C3POs and stuff like that. It's a nice call. So here we have with Omega Leader going around and doing his thing.
That's a nice spot. It's a spot he's not supposed to be in, but it's still a nice spot.
Yeah.
He's right behind that Y. He's right behind the BTL Y-wing. He's in a decent place to intercept Poe, and it looks like he's managed to blow away all the stress.
Yeah. Now, if it had been Scott that knocked over those fighters, I would have been a little bit more unforgiving. But because it was Steven, his failure is sort of costing him now.
Yeah. And now I hadn't noticed this, but Whisper didn't decloak, and it makes sense now. It's, oh, she's just K-turning.
Yeah.
Okay, she'll stay cloaked. That's fine. I guess in the grand scheme of things, it does make sense. Whisper really wasn't in a very good spot to decloak. Otherwise,
In a really good spot now.
oh, a brilliant spot now.
It's a good example of planning your turns a couple turns ahead. It might not suit your benefit right now, but in a turn or two, it'll be really good.
And Whisper's still...
And that's the story
Whisper's
of Poe,
still
right?
great. Yeah, exactly. Poe spent most of the game winging around the board edge, but now he's just got that big, juicy butt of the shuttle.
Space cow! I want my beef.
Yeah, he's gonna cut himself some nice steaks there. And well, he doesn't look like he's in range 1 again. Unfortunate, but hey, I'm Poe. What's up? I have kind of focus all the time.
Yeah.
And that's gonna hurt.
The Rebel player, Steve, is really going to want to get on Poe, or not Poe, Omega Leader really quickly, because he's running out of that stress. He just evaded, which was kind of an interesting choice. I would have probably target locked the one Y-wing that could shoot at me, but just to be a jerk. But he doesn't have any dice modification either, so there's no point there.
No, the one Y-wing that can shoot him, he's K-turned, so it's all right. You know what? Might as well get the evade battery recharged. Let's get it up and running again. So there's a couple points of damage onto the shuttle. Palpatine's kind of scared right now.
Yeah. All right, here's Omega with his. The other nice thing about the evade token, and I just forgot, is the fact that you have a Juke proc in there. But you have
a useful ability to have. Yeah.
You have to roll a decent dice result in order for you to make use of it, though.
Unfortunately, and as we saw, Palpatine was used defending against Poe, so there's no modification there.
Oh yeah, this is me scolding him and telling him to roll on this.
And here's now Palpatine shooting. So
I just imagine that Sheev That's his first name, by the way. For those of you at home that didn't know Palpatine's first name, Sheev just kicking the pilot out of the way is like, I will drive this now, and still use my battle meditation on this battle.
Yeah. So there's damage sensor array. All right, that's on the K-turned Y-wing. So that Y-wing has 2 TLT dice.
Nice.
And a damage sensor array.
Yeah.
So
it looks,
I mean, he wasn't going to be. He wasn't likely to be performing action bar actions anyway.
Yeah.
But now he's really not. Now I believe Stephen may actually be. I think he actually didn't quite read his crit card there.
Oh, the first one, where he.
That's
Kaboom!
cheeky. I like that. Okay.
Nice sleeves.
Where with the attack dice modification from the crit. So the previous deck, it did have a reduce your primary weapon value by 1.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is when rolling dice, roll 1 less.
It affects everything.
Yeah. This new damage deck it's got some nice changes to it, but it is unforgiving.
One could say that it's brutal.
A little bit. So here's the decloak. Don't want to forget that. We're quite a ways after that particular errata, but you got to decloak before dials.
Yeah.
Don't want to forget that. So we might. What do you think? Think we're going to see some jousting with Poe and Omega Leader?
I think it's quite possible, yeah. It's going to be very difficult for Omega Leader because of just where these Y-Wings are.
Yeah. And
he has some flexibility, though, which is really nice.
Yeah, it is a shame that Palpatine died. However, his Scott's 2 aces, they're basically untouched. Like, Whisper's taken 1 point of damage.
Which is really surprising considering the basically sheer amount of TLTs that was coming her way.
Exactly.
And uncloaked while all that happened.
So, yeah, the Scott's 2 aces are functionally intact. Steven's Y-Wings they're both a little beat up.
It's anybody's game at this point.
Yeah. And the BTL is not contributing to this fight for a few turns. So he doesn't have to worry about that. The one TLT that can shoot is 2 points from death.
Yeah.
So if Scott wants to, he can likely have Whisper just nuke that thing.
See, the problem that I'm having right here is trying to figure out, okay, is Poe really the right answer? I have stipulated a lot of the time when dealing with the Paul Heaver list that you want to deal with Poe right away, but Poe is also a very difficult pilot to...
He's a hard fighter to kill.
Yeah, he very much so, especially when you have R2-D2 and those defensive actions. Now, Omega Leader makes a really good counter-pilot for this pick because you can't use his focus defensively at all, so you can start pounding in the damage, but it's only most of the time 2 attack dice a turn against 2 defense dice. That's not as much as you want to be able to put Poe into the ground.
And this is smart, though, whereas the target locking him, you can't modify dice.
Yeah. So
Poe's ability isn't proccing.
Yes, against Omega Leader.
Yeah.
Now, I would almost say that if Scott is able to just completely annihilate these Y-Wings and maybe even pick off the Headhunter, then these 2 fighters can easily deal with Poe, especially the Phantom. The Phantom is your key to victory when dealing with Poe.
Doubly so with Kallus.
Yeah. It has the firepower to deal with it.
So here we go. So now Poe moving up. Manages to sneak in.
Yeah, that's a really, really nice spot for where Poe wants to be to deal with Omega Leader.
Yeah, he can try to overwhelm Omega Leader's pilot ability.
It's 4 attack dice go.
Yeah. And at this point,
Is this a
honestly, I think for his action, I would target lock Whisper.
Yeah?
Well, it's not going to benefit you against Omega Leader.
Mm-hmm.
Focus isn't going to do you any good because you're not getting shot, and you can't modify against Omega Leader.
Yeah.
you might as well grab the lock on Whisper for later turns anyway.
Yeah, that's absolutely 100% the right answer. Now, if Steven sees that, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll...
It's kind of hard when you're like right in the thick of it and you're trying to plan all of your turns.
Grabs it.
Yeah, you got it.
It's smart, and that's the beautiful thing about target locks being a persistent token.
Yeah, rub it in more. My TIE fighter pilots hate you.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just like, hey, so my other actions don't do anything this turn. I'm just going to target lock that guy for like 6 turns from now.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Brute forcing through the 4 attack dice, gets 2 hits and a crit. Forcing Omega to spend his hard fought for evade token.
Yeah.
Takes no damage from it, which is a blessing.
Yeah, but he still wants that evade token to proc Juke, which is such a great combination of abilities. For 5 points, well, and then on top of the point cost of Omega Leader, it's just such a nice combination. Like, so effectively, 26 points for, hey, I'm going to be a real big jerk.
Yeah.
Offensively, defensively, I'm on a really good vehicle to dogfight.
And that's 2. Kills the severely damaged Y-Wing.
Nice.
Recloaks, and Whisper receives her focus. So, hey, Whisper's not taking any more damage this turn.
No, pretty much. Especially with the sensor jammer. Yeah, you don't have Palpatine hanging out, being all defensive, but...
Yeah, not a huge deal. And there's Omega Leader taking his range 1 into the butt. And not doing any damage to a Y-Wing.
Oh.
Well, he only rolled 1 hit, so... To be fair, he only rolled the 1 hit, and that Y-Wing managed to evade it.
Yeah, it's still sad. I mean, it's a Y-Wing.
It's like, I'm in vastly superior technology. You're in a relic. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, the Y-Wing is about 50 years old from the TIE FO's point of view.
Yeah. About at least. At least.
Well, Battle of Endor is 35 years. Or Force Awakens is 35 years after the Battle of Endor.
And Endor is, 25 years after Clone Wars?
Well, something like that.
So it's about a 60-year-old fighter. Yeah, alright.
Let's just say that
that's legit.
If I was in the Force Awakens timeline, I wouldn't be flying a Y-Wing.
Nah. No, man. Not at all.
Unless I was very sentimental.
Alright, so I would assume Whisper's going to decloak this turn. She's in a brilliant spot to do it. Yeah, there we go. Interesting direction. Not the direction I would have thought. I would have... If I was playing Whisper, I would have gone the other way and then turned in, but...
Just to give you a wide vantage?
Exactly, yes. But, I mean, Scott obviously has a plan here, so... Let's see what pans out. I'm curious.
Yeah. Especially when Poe just has the maneuverability with boost action as well on the pilot advantage.
He is terribly unpredictable, which is a strange thing to say about an X-Wing. But Poe is terribly unpredictable.
It's a T-70 X-Wing, bro.
This is good. This is definitely a benefit of decloaking this way, of that Headhunter is... well, it's not shooting you at all this turn.
It's not doing anything.
No. It's potentially gumming you up, but I really don't know where that Phantom's going to go.
Yeah. Well, the Phantom here is going to... I'm pretty sure it's going to fry that Y-Wing, that last Y-Wing.
Yeah.
It's going to try to put the damage into it, deal with it once and for all, and then we can deal with Poe.
And she is definitely she is moving before Poe, so she has a nice wide area to land.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And she's shooting before Omega Leader, so she's going to be able to recloak, get her focus action.
Yeah. And Omega Leader is hot on the tail of the Y-Wing, staying within that range 1 band.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it really needs to worry that much about it, because
that's the BTL.
Yeah.
Still,
I'm always appreciative of the different paint schemes for the Y-Wings.
For sure. And that looks like, yes, Whisper should still have arc. Little daring to pick that maneuver, but also it might force Poe to run into you.
Yeah, that is something that I don't think either of us really considered when we were looking at that. We were looking at we want vantage just so we can fry Poe, but forcing Poe to bump into you, that's a solid tactic.
Yeah, it's a little daring. There's a little bit of a gamble of whether or not Whisper would still have an arc, but it looks
like it pays off.
Well, Poe's just flying completely past her.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not... As the Poe pilot, I'm not sure if I would have one forwarded to just try and slow play assume that Scott is going to try to wolfpack your Y-Wing.
Yeah.
But this looks like he's just going to completely...
Disengage?
Yeah, disengage and get turned about.
This is fairly intense because... that Y-Wing's going down, no question of a doubt. But what are these two Rebel fighters going to do once he has to go up against pretty much the core of Scott's list?
Yeah, that's the big thing right now is as soon as that Y-Wing goes down, Scott is winning the game.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be difficult for Steven to come back. I'm curious, but I mean, like, Poe's awesome. He's great at carrying, just in general. Like, he's got big, broad shoulders, right? So
yeah.
But it's definitely...
he has to carry Finn's bromance, right?
Yeah, this is
around
gonna be
with
hard.
him all the time.
And that's, as we said, that's the Y-Wing. I mean, beyond terrible dice rolling, that Y-Wing was doomed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Whisper's recloaked.
5 attack dice from the Phantom, another 3 attack dice from the TIFO.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. I am very curious, speaking of TIFOs and The Force Awakens, we've been talking a lot about, the different games and stuff. I am very curious if we're going to see the TIE SF, that's the Special Forces TIE fighter that you saw Finn and Poe fly in the movie.
It's like crewman slot or something like
crewman
that.
And cannons and all of that groovy stuff.
Yeah.
Life support and hyperdrive.
It could definitely be interesting. I'm not sure if it would be a separate ship or like the B-Wing. It would be like the B-Wing title.
Mm. I can see it being a separate ship just because those armaments...
It does look it does look...
It's also beefier. It's a little beefier than...
It does look a little different, but it does look noticeably beefier.
Also, alternate paint schemes. Something for you guys to get excited about.
I know, right?
Also, one of the things is you might have noticed that we didn't have a video last week. It was because, well, for Easter, our editor got a very, very hurt leg from tripping on ice. So we were not able to do a video last week. And I originally did a vlog post on it too, but we weren't able to do that either. On top of which, we are planning on doing some Wave 8 games in the future, so look forward to that.
It should be a lot of fun.
I'm taking a week off just to get them done.
The things we do for you guys. Nah, we love it. So here's Whisper. She's getting pulled around. As we were saying, not terribly surprising. Looks like Steven has opted to pull his K-turns.
Yeah.
Not too much, not a whole lot of a disengage. Looks like he's just straight up going for the joust. The gorgeous thing about the Headhunter having a 3K turn is you can quite easily stagger your K-turns with your other ships.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so Whisper she opted to recloak. It's the smart thing. She wasn't getting shots anyway. Not really sure if she really needed the cloak, but perhaps it gets to... Oh, there was Juke going off.
Yeah.
But perhaps, it'll get her in a nice spot for next turn. Some long-range poke here from Omega Leader into the Headhunter.
He's such a jerk. I love him.
He's a jerk. He actually got a hit through, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And just so unlikely to receive damage back. With an evade token, 4 defense dice. This is good. That Phantom is going to get in the scrum, in the mix. This is going to hurt.
This is going to be like the climax we've been waiting for. This whole game has been dancing around and avoiding each other and picking targets really carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from the one major bumpage, there hasn't been a lot of bumping in this game either, or nudging anyway. So I'm very excited to see how the final turns of this game turn out.
This could be a very daring move for Whisper, just because. Oh, that was unexpected.
Oh,
just because Poe out initiatives her.
Okay.
So he can shoot her when she doesn't have her 4 defense dice.
Okay.
Because he's 10 versus 9, right?
I am very curious why he did that.
That I have no idea.
Okay, maybe it was on purpose to block, but he could have done a 2-bang to do that.
If I honestly don't think he really wants to block here, because
he wants the actions.
Well, he wants the actions, and having that turn be fully executed drops him into range 1 of the Headhunter, which is it's such a convenient target to just blow away.
Yeah. So I don't I don't know what's going on here.
No, that was odd.
Let's see what Poe's doing.
That's
3 forward.
That's
1 forward.
That's a 1 forward. So slow playing Poe. Okay,
makes sense.
It does. I mean, this does leave Whisper out of range 1 of Poe. She unlikely to have been in range 1, but it would have been close.
Yeah.
But now it's just, hey, 2 defense dice versus Poe. Crap. And
yeah.
Sensor Jammer doesn't. It's not as effective because Poe's got the focus.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't matter because of Poe's ability.
No, it doesn't, and that kills Whisper. She's dead.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, if you had an evade token on there or something, you would have been able to survive.
If you had a focus.
Yeah.
So.
And there's no shots back from.
No, and this is just, hey, I'm gonna shoot 3 attack dice into the back of Omega Leader. That was a very strange maneuver.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah. Oh, Whispers didn't surprise me. That's exactly what I expected out of Whispers.
Yeah, I think Omega Leader is what baffled both of us.
Yeah. I have no idea why he did that.
And now Omega Leader's in just the worst spot possible.
He is. He can't play slower than Rebels.
No, he can't. Not with the Rebels 1 maneuvers. TIE Fighters don't go slow.
No.
They go fast and faster. And it's landing on an asteroid.
At this point, I think he just doesn't really care where he ends up.
And he gets a direct hit from the asteroid.
So
ends the game by crashing into a rock.
Hey Matt, did you know that Atlantic Canada has a new gaming and tournament center in downtown Fredericton?
Yes, John, I did actually. I want to do even better. Check out the website yet. You can go on there, order X-Wing stuff online, get it shipped to you anywhere in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. You've even got more locations to come soon. It's metagames.com. You should have a look.
So you're telling me that I can go online and order a bunch of T-70s for the integrated astromech, and it's going to get shipped right to my door?
Yeah, and once you got them, come on down Monday night. It's our free play night. Come in, meet all sorts of interesting people, nice big open play space. It's really relaxing time. You should check it out.
That sounds awesome. What's the website again?
It's metagames.com, so metagames with a Z on the end of it.
Long live metagames!
Oh, that one being the most anticipated games that I was, the ending on how I like to see it, to being like, what the actual...
that is, you snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it was still a great game to watch.
Oh yeah, it was.
Not to dump on Scott here. Well done. That was a lot of fun to watch. That was a sudden rush of excrement to the brain.
Yeah. So I think next year we'll find new and exciting ways for Scott to hand the game to his opponent.
to hand whisper to something. Well, guys, as always, thanks for watching Wookiees on X-Wing. And be sure to like and subscribe. We've got Wookiees videos out every Wednesday.
We are a part of the Northern Gaming Network. Be sure to check it out at northerngamingnetwork.com, where we have additional content for this game and others. Find us on Twitter at NorthGameNet, or like us on Facebook to keep up with our most recent news.
We'll see you next week, guys.
One of the things I wanted to say before the end of this video is Matt and I had been talking about some Wave 8 lists for us to play against in my upcoming week off. If you have some ideas on what you want to see against the Wave 8 fighters, feel free to put your squadron idea in the comment section below. Specifically, we are looking at really solid lists for the Phantom and the Ghost. We've been playing off of each other, trying to figure out exactly what we like. Matt's kicked my teeth in a couple of times with a couple of lists that he has, but he's just not 100% on one. So, Phantom and Ghost, mostly Hera. I want to see Hera, but if you get Squadron in there somehow, put it in the comment section below. I want to see it.
Looking forward to it, guys.
Take care.